I'm starting from back here with my two spinning reels. They're not in any order, they're just there. So first up is a Berkeley cherry wood. This is like my micro rod. It's got an Abu Garcia cardinal on it with like 6-pound monofilament, and it's got a little crappie max jig on it. I can fish for anything I really want with this. It handles really well. It's a 2-piece. It's portable. It's got good backbone and good tip. It's pretty comfortable. It's got a cork handle.
Mr. Ducky Beat.
Next rod. This rod is a 7-foot medium fast Abu Garcia Vendetta with an Abu Garcia Revo X 6:2-to-1 gear ratioed reel on it. It's got, I believe it's 20-pound braid. I used to have a leader, but I used it up, so I'm gonna have to tie another leader on. So far, this rod really works very well. I like it because it's got this clicker up here to lock the handle in. I use it from anywhere to like wacky worms, Ned rigs, small crankbaits, shaky heads, anything finesse, drop shots, and stuff like that. I mean, the next rod is also new. Well, I've had the rod and I've had the reel, but I just never really used them. This is an old Bass Pro Shops Extreme. They just came out with a new one. I have taken the handle off. So the handle is a Bass Pro Shops formula handle that I put on there. It's got 15-pound Berkeley monofilament big game on there. The rod is a 7-foot medium heavy Berkeley amp. Pretty fast tip. I'm using it for a fluke, which I like to run like a 5-aught heavy wired worm hook on my flukes, and then any fluke bait you could use, a Zoom Super Fluke or a Berkeley split tail or whatever they're called.
Mr. Ducky Beat.
This next rod is one of my personal favorites. It is a 7-foot medium heavy Bass Pro Shops Bionic blade. And then the reel is a Bass Pro Shops Bionic Plus with, I think, a 3:1 gear ratio, 15-pound Berkeley mono. This is usually my Texas rig rod. Sometimes I may throw a jig on it depending on which rods I bring with me to different places. Because it's pretty stiff, but it's got a good tip.
Mr. Ducky Beat.
This next rod is another one of my favorites. I've had it for almost 5 years now, I think. It's a 7-foot Wahali. It's a heavy action, a little stiffer. It's also got the big eyes on it. Right now I think I have 65-pound Power Pro braid on there. Got a Bass Pro Shops formula reel. I think 6:3-to-1. It's lasted me quite a while. The bait I have on right now is a Guggen Squad blooper in the matte bone color. Different reel on, but the rod tip broke and I ended up changing the reel and stuff. It was a 7-foot medium heavy H2O Express Ethos rod. It has micro eyes, but I broke the tip off, so now it's about a 6'9" H2O Express Right now I have the Major League Fishing reel on it by Abu Garcia with 15-pound Berkeley Big Game. Right now I also have a Hedden Jr. One knocker spook. It really feels good. I've caught a
Mr. Ducky Beat.
I got a 7-foot medium heavy Berkeley amp. This is my chatterbait rod most of the time. Chatterbait or crankbait. 7:1 gear ratio. I don't know how to say it correctly, but I'm pretty sure it's Pacifisun. 15-pound Berkeley big game monofilament. Still works. Sounds like trash, but it still casts perfectly fine. It's a big handle. I kind of like it. Next is an Abu Garcia Revo X. I think it is 6:6:1, 8-ball bearings, 15-pound Berkeley Big Game, American Hero Speed Stick. This is my jig rod right now. I have a black and blue jig, 3/8 ounce with a chigger crawl on the back. The next is another jerkbait or topwater rod. Right now there's a Berkeley Choppa on there. It's a 6'9" All-Star, medium heavy, with a limited Bass Pro Shops formula that has it's 6:6:1, and I think it's got 16-pound Bass Pro XL monofilament. The next rod is a Bionic Plus. It is a 6:3:1. It's got 15-pound Seaguar Red Label fluorocarbon on it. I think it's Seaguar Red Label. The rod is an American Hero loose speed stick, 7-foot medium heavy. And these two are basically duplicate rods. They're the same exact thing. Wright & McGillen Insight Pro Advantage 7-foot medium heavy. These are like my spinnerbait, chatterbait, swimbait, crankbait rods. They both have pro qualifiers on with 15-pound Berkeley Big Game monofilament. This one's got a Rapala DT10 on it. This is a 6:8:1 gear ratio pro qualifier, and then this one is a 5:6:1 gear ratio, and it's got a 1/4 ounce Terminator double willow spinnerbait on there. And yeah, that's basically all my rods. So I'll catch you on the next episode of LG Outdoors.